The Vision High School Sports Beat is brought to you by the 9 locally owned Vision Automotive Group dealerships from Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Hyundai, Kia, and Nissan, with locations in Webster, Henrietta, Greece, Penfield, Fairport, and Canandaigua. Online at visionauto.com. Hello everyone and welcome to the Vision Automotive High School Sports Beat. I'm Bill Puckle. Every week at this time we take a comprehensive look at sports in Section 5 in Monroe County. We begin with our honor roll of high school teams. Number 3, we have the Webster Raiders softball team, which opened up with a 2-1 win over Pittsford Mendon. And number 2, Pittsford Boys Lacrosse won its first 2 games of the year. Brandon Barker had a 5-goal game and a win over Ithaca. And at number 1, Brighton baseball, which has 5 wins already. Brian Jordan had 3 3-hit games. He went 9 for 12 over the last 3 games with 2 triples and a grand slam. Which brings us back to a story that we did last May. Michael Opa passed away a couple of weeks ago. His story was typical of his generation. Back then we called it the Forgotten Guys. We replay that story now, remembering Michael Opa. Michael Opa was a football star. One of the great local players, a running back, Jefferson High School, class of 1960.
How tough has these last 9 years been?
Brutal. To see somebody die a minute at a time for 9 years. It's hard. I'm sorry. But he's still positive. Sick as he is, he's always been positive, always. He used to keep me from levitating, because I'm a little hyper if you haven't figured that out yet. It's been awful for all of us.
Lopa was a wingback for the Jeffs. Played 1955 through 59. He scored 38 career touchdowns and was named a high school All-American. Barb and Mike were together since the 8th grade. Married at 19, she had a front row seat.
It was exciting. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't let off the front porch, literally. My father would, when I was in high school, and to get married at 19 and move to a different state, it was quite a learning experience. And it was, I was so proud of him for doing as well as he was doing. And yeah, it was very exciting.
Lopa continued his career at Indiana University and then returned home, where he taught and coached football, wrestling, track, and soccer for 33 years.
He had a toughness to him, no nonsense, but you know what? He was fair, and he worked us and really took us to the next level. And we had a lot of success, and we appreciate and remember the lessons that he taught us.
I remember walking down the hall and having my arm around a girl and him come up behind me and say, "We don't do that here. Take your hands off her." So it was.
And this is a good memory now.
It was a good memory, yes. It was just something he always looking out for you. You might have been a player of his, but you were also one of his kids.
Lopa's is all too common a story. The game of football took its toll. Mike had multiple surgeries on his knees and shoulders and took a lot of hits to the head.
He had a severe concussion, and they sent him to the medical center in Indianapolis, and he was in the hospital for over a week, and the neurologist told him, never play football again. And they must have told the coaches, too, that he should not play football. But Mike was 20 years old, and when you're 20 years old, you think you're invincible. And it came to pass that he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
Lopa was back on the field for the Hoosiers as soon as he was out of the hospital, and he played that week. That kind of situation wouldn't happen at most places today. Section 5 was at the forefront of seeing to that, implementing procedures that are now mandated by the state of New York.
You know, the precautionary measures that are done now are so much more advanced. I mean, kids, they may sit out a game and that may save their career. And unfortunately, we've had, you know, we've seen a lot of the players that played athletics and football in the 60s that now are having some of the effects of the concussion and the second impact.
The medical consensus is that the effects of repeated concussions contributed greatly to Lopa's Alzheimer's and the 9 years that he and his family have spent fighting it. Mike's a representative of a generation that medical technology and concussion awareness forgot. But football to Michael Opa was just that important. It was to a lot of them.
Well, if I've figured out anything in all this time that we've been together, men and girls, men and women are different. He just loved what he was doing. Everything he did, he loved. He went through so many surgeries over the years, and he always used to say, I have no regrets. Always, I have no regrets. I've had a wonderful life.
Michael Opa was 73. When we return, bring on spring. We go to Brighton for a couple of girls lacrosse heavyweights when the Vision Automotive Group's High School Sports Beat continues. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us in the Vision Automotive Group's High School Sports Beat. I'm Bill Pucko. Let's check now our honor roll of high school athletes. At number 3, Hilton Boys Lacrosse opened with a win over Oswego. We salute Zeus Dozier because he had a 5-goal game, but also because a guy named Zeus has got to be good. At number 2, Canandaigua Boys Lacrosse won its first 2 games. Connor Humm had hat tricks in both wins over Geneva and McQuaid. And at number 1, a couple of batters on the Aquinas softball team, Sam Ashman and Sarah Bruno, combined to go 7 for 7 in a win over Brighton. Which brings us to Brighton for an early season lacrosse game between 2 girls' teams. Brighton is the gold standard of girls lacrosse in these parts. Richard Curtis has been the head coach for 18 years, and his Barons have won 13 Section 5 titles. This is the team most measure themselves against. Mercy came into this contest with a 3-1 record and an impressive start to the season. Brighton is what Mercy is trying to be.
We're starting to have a name that is more and more respected in Section 5. I think we get a lot of the top-tier teams in Section 5 that want to play us, want to be on our schedule, and we do our best to put good competition out there.
To the game, and the Monarchs jumped all over the Barons early. Just 24 seconds into the game, a give and go, Alex Vincent to Grace Maggio and back to Vincent had Mercy on the board first. That same combination clicked in a nearly identical manner at the 4-minute mark to make it 2-1 Mercy. Vincent had 2 quick goals, 4 for the game, and Maggio 2 quick assists.
Working with her, I mean, you two guys are really on the same page out there, aren't you?
Yeah, we definitely are. We've played together since middle school now, and I know she's great to play with.
That give and go play is pretty patented, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. The team works hard, so we practice it a lot.
Mercy got another when Katie Sargent scored from the slot. 6.5 minutes in, the Monarchs had a 3-1 lead.
You feel on top of the world, but you got to realize that the game there's still 25 minutes left, and you just got to work hard. And I think both teams did that. We both worked hard. We hustled our butts off.
It didn't last. Brighton won the ensuing faceoff and completely dominated play for the next 12.5 minutes, during which time the Barons scored 7 times. Off a set play, Carly Thomas passed to Eleanor Burns. Then it was Burns to Catherine Costanza for the goal to put Brighton ahead for the first time, 4-3.
How much panic was there, or if there was any, on your sideline when it got to be 3-1 and they looked so good?
It really didn't panic us. I think it just gave us more of a drive to get going. We came out a little flat, but it pushed us to start working together and settle it down.
Emma Genzel to Margaret McKenna made it 7-3 Brighton. Sophomore Mackenzie Harris scored 4 goals. The third of those made it 8-3 Brighton.
It's not a one-person team. You know, a team is a team. It's not one person. And I think the only reason that I had goals was because of my teammates, and you know, it's a whole team effort.
What made that stretch of play where, you know, they went ahead 3-1, and then until there were 6 minutes left in the half, they didn't even possess the ball?
I think we started to win the draws and really just control the ball. We stopped forcing it and just made sure we were playing together to make it work.
With 3 minutes left of the half, Mercy got back on the board. Vincent to Maggio to Vincent. Where have you seen that before? Twice. It was the end of a tough stretch of the game for the Monarchs.
It's definitely hard. Our coach always says it's a game of momentum. Everyone gets ups and downs. We just had to keep fighting, and that's what we did.
Brighton kept the momentum in the second half. Carly Thomas got another to make it 11-4 just 33 seconds in. Thomas had a 4-goal game. Then what was the goal of the game, Alexa Bauer got loose and outran the Mercy defense. Pass to Eleanor Burns, who quickly found Caroline Liederman out in front for the goal. It was a dominant performance for the Barons against a quality opponent, feeding in divisions of another championship season at Brighton.
It feels awesome. I think that this season's going to be really well, and I think that together we're playing very well as a unit, and I really believe that we can go far this season.
Making the Grade with Kim is next, and later on we'll count down the top 20 teams of the recently completed winter sports season when the Vision Automotive Group's High School Sports Beat continues.
Welcome back, and thanks for watching the Vision High School Sports Beat. I'm Kim Burnson. It's time now for our Making the Grade segment, where we honor high school athletes for their performance both on and off the field. This week, Making the Grade takes us to Fairport, where Jason Tabbitt is our honoree. Not a lot of students have their hand in as many clubs and activities as Jason. As a 9th grade student in the Fairport School District, he's a member of the Alpine skiing team as well as track and field, where he competes in the shot put and the discus. Jason also takes his competitiveness to the classroom. He's a JV competitor for the Masterminds team while also volunteering as an assistant coach for the Academic Challenge Bowl team at Martha Brown Middle School. There he helps mentor younger students, preparing them for the next level of academic competition. In school, Jason acts as his student council co-vice president and is a member of the Science and Library Club at Minerva DeLand. Jason also rounds out his after-school activities in the music department. He's made area all-state and all-county honors as a tuba player and has taken piano lessons since 4th grade. When he can, Jason volunteers in his community, where he's currently working on his Eagle Scouts Award through his work at the Fairport Advent House. For his dedication to everything he takes on, this week Jason Tabbitt is making the grade. If you have a student in mind for our Making the Grade segment, we want to hear from you. You can contact us at info@classywolf.com. I'm Kim Burnson. Now here's Bill with a look at our Section 5 calendar.
If spring arrives, the golfers from Penfield, Brighton, and McQuaid will benefit the most. They'll be competing at Oak Hill on Monday beginning at 3 o'clock. Softball on Tuesday, Pittsford Sutherland plays at Mercy under new management. 4:30 first pitch there. Boys lacrosse on Tuesday also. Canandaigua plays at Irondequoit. And come the weekend, 6 teams will compete at the Rush Henrietta Relays and the start of the outdoor track and field season at 1 o'clock. Some of what is scheduled to occur in Section 5 this week. The winter season top 20 when the Vision Automotive Group's High School Sports Beat continues. Welcome back to the Vision Automotive Group's High School Sports Beat. I'm Bill Pucko. Teams representing Greece Athena, Victor, and Pittsford Sutherland were the top teams playing high school sports in the fall. Here now is our view of the top 20 teams from the just completed winter high school sports season. At number 20, Fairport Hockey. There are only 5 teams in Class A hockey this year. The Raiders wound up second to McQuaid, losing 3-2 to the Knights, who then swept to the state title. Fairport might have been the second best team in the state. At number 19, Brockport Hockey. The Blue Devils wound up 12-9, but scored a Section 5 title by beating Irondequoit 6-5 in a thrilling Class B final. At number 18, Fairport Bowling. Not considered a bowling power, Fairport surprised everyone by winning sectional titles in both the boys and girls divisions. At 17, Brighton Swimming, the second of 3 teams in our top 20 that did not win a sectional title. The Barons were 3rd in Class B, but they had 2 individual state champions. Noah Stevens won the 100 butterfly, and Scott Lazaroff was the diving champion. At 16, Soda Boys Basketball. The Silverhawks went 20-3, won the Class A2 sectional title. Freddie Thomas High School, which didn't exist anymore, was represented with a star player and the head coach. At 15, Victor Hockey. Class AA sectional champion, the 17-7 Blue Devils scored 2 third-period goals to beat the Grease Thunder in the final. Sophomore David Ferens was the section's most exciting player. At 14, Canandaigua Boys Swimming. The Braves returned to the top of Class B. Alex Byron was the star, winning the 100 free and contributing to 2 winning relay teams. At 13, Leadership Academy Boys Basketball. The 19-4 Lions played a challenging schedule and took on all comers, winning the Class B1 sectional title before losing to West Hill in the state Class B semifinals. At 12, we have the Bishop Kearney girls basketball team. 19-5 Lady Kings won the A1 sectional title by defeating Mercy in the finals, their 3rd championship in 3 different classes in 3 years. At 11, Fairport Cheerleading. The Raiders returned to prominence this year, winning both the fall and the winter Section 5 titles. At 10, Brockport Wrestling. Blue Devils won the Class A championship in championship form, with winners in 6 classes and runners-up in 4 more. At 9, HFL Nordic Skiing. The Cougars typically dominated on the girls' side behind Sarah Erkfitz and Bailey Reed, but HFL also managed to dethrone Pittsford Mendon in the boys' competition. At 8, Hilton Wrestling. The 3rd of our 3 non-Section 5 title winners. The Cadets finished 2nd in Class AA, but wound up with 2 state champions, Louis Dupre at 160 pounds and the amazing Yanni Diakomahalis at 120. At 7, Pittsford Boys Swimming. The Panthers rolled to their 13th straight sectional boys title, matching the accomplishment of the girls team in the fall. Junior Arthur Phan won the 200 IM and participated on 2 winning relay teams. At 6, Fairport Wrestling, the winners of the AA championships. The Raiders were dominant, going 21-0 in dual meets and winning 6 of 7 tournament titles. Zach Barker won the 152-pound weight class in Coach Mike Cole's last year. At 5, the Aquinas boys basketball team. Little Irish won the Class AA sectionals unbeaten and largely unchallenged. Aquinas finished 22-1, losing in the state semifinals. At 4, Rush Henrietta Indoor Track. The Comets featured the finest collection of female athletes in recent memory. Sammy Watson won the state title in the 1,000, and Lene Tava-Thomas claimed the 55. The boys made it a double, also winning the sectionals by a wide margin. At 3, the Rush Henrietta girls basketball team. The Comets wound up 23-1 in Coach Steven Shapansky's last season, behind star seniors Dana Watts, Sarah Swayze, and Emily Nessler. RH was 23-0 going into the state finals, where it lost to Ossining. At 2, Greece Athena boys basketball. The rock stars of the high school basketball scene got to the state finals undefeated, finished 24-1 behind Player of the Year candidate Anthony Lamb. They lost to Scotia in the Class A final. And at number 1, McQuaid Hockey, the state champions. The Knights wound up 22-2 and beat 12 teams playing in sectional finals of their own across the state. Jack Dugan with 53 points was the section scoring leader. He had a section best 34 assists. They had 2 first-team and 2 second-team all-state players, tops among our top 20 teams of the winter sports season.
Thanks to our partners at the Vision Automotive Group, they make the Sports Beat possible.
As do you. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next week.